Hi, welcome. I'm Jez Sadler. Are you a frustrated job seeker? I might be able to help with that. No, I'm not going to offer you a job. I'm not able to do that. However, I can give you a heads up. So let's have a look to see what the cards have to say about your job prospects. Yeah, so let's see what is coming up for you as regards your job search. If you've been looking for a while, I know how frustrating it can be because I've been there several times in my life. And when you're going for jobs that have a lot of competition and you've got to try and stand out, and it doesn't always work, does it? Yep, I've been there as well. However, it is even more so now in the sense of the competition that's arisen because of the pandemic and so on, and there's a lot more people on the sort of unemployment list and so on. So what do you do? What is it like going forward, looking for your ideal work or any job, I suppose, in many cases? Well, this is going to be a general reading, so it's not going to be for everyone, and it's not set in stone either. So what you discover here, what I share throughout this reading, are only suggestions, and it's not counsel advice or anything like that. You want proper advice like that, then you go see the professionals. This will just give you a heads up of what's coming your way as far as looking for work is concerned. Okay, so let's get into it. Just going to shuffle the cards a little bit. The question I'm kind of asking on your behalf is, what is the outcome of my job search? In other words, what is the outcome of your job search? So let's have a look to see what the cards have to say in that regard. Okay, so 3 cards at random. Okay, so we have got the 5 of wands, or 5. 5 is change, so you're looking for change. This is like past, present and future. So there's been a change in your life, obviously in your employment, otherwise you wouldn't be looking for work. So there has been a change in that regard, and maybe a change in your attitude as well towards looking for work. You may be maybe at first, as would be normal, you were looking for something else in your field, in your industry, in your sector. But however, with everything that's been going on right now, that maybe is not as good an idea as it might have been at one time, because there's so much competition out there now, and so many people going after a lot less posts, if you like. You know, if you work in, say, in the manufacturing industry, that is making maybe some non-essential items, as an example, perhaps there isn't such a great demand for that. Or maybe you're in retail sector, or you're in the entertainment sector and things like that, and looking for work, especially in those areas, has been extremely difficult. You know, especially in the retail and the hospitality, for example, they've been hit so hard, you know, in recent times, with all the different restrictions, on and off, open, close, you know, and things like that. It's been very difficult for the business owners to keep staff on, and I can understand that there's a lot of frustration where that is concerned. So that has changed. You are looking forward now. You're starting to look forward, and as a result, you are making progress. You know, because 9s are for progress. It's about progression. It's hitting milestones. Perhaps some of you may have been doing some training in a new sector, a new area of expertise, and you're able perhaps to look at different jobs, or different forms of employment, different forms of career that you hadn't considered before, and you're making progress with that now, because you're getting perhaps interviews coming in. You are gaining certificates, perhaps, which will help you in the long run. You are gaining the expertise, the knowledge that you need to help you with your job search as well. And some of you may have interviews lined up. I'm feeling that maybe most of you haven't, but you're still making progress either in a mental sense because you've accepted the fact that you are going to have to change sectors perhaps to get work, or you're doing the training which will give you that extra added boost, if you like, as far as your CV, your resume is concerned. And I have then the hangman. This can mean a delay, so I'm feeling that perhaps this year not a lot will change, or there could be a delay in maybe receiving answers to applications. Yes, to applications. I'm getting applications. A lot of you are waiting on replies and so on. You're not getting them from the different companies. They're not replying as fast as they used to do, mainly because they're probably swamped under, where perhaps they had maybe one post that maybe a couple of hundred people went for, maybe now a couple of thousand are going for the same post, and they've got to sort through all the resumes, all the CVs, and if yours doesn't stand out, you're probably not going to get a reply. If you haven't taken the training, perhaps here this is where you could be making progress, getting some training specifically related to sending out a good CV and resume that gets noticed, and if it's not like that, it just gets rejected. It needs to stand out really in that way. Another way is perhaps you're making progress in this way, is because you're actually going round to the different companies, the different shops, or wherever it happens to be where work is available, and you're presenting yourself, you're handing your CV in, and you're still waiting for replies. So there is a bit of a delay about some replies, I would think, for either applications or the results of interviews. Perhaps you've had telephone interviews or video interviews and you're waiting for results from that. So some of you are waiting in that way. Some of you could also still be waiting to find the right opportunity. So let's see what else we can find out. Okay, so we've got the 4 here. 4s are stability. So you're not entirely all over the place. You are feeling quite stable. You are feeling quite confident. You've got structure and stability in your life. Perhaps your finances are still okay. Maybe some of you are being supported through benefits and things like that, but others perhaps are relying on their savings, bank overdrafts, credit cards and things like that. And maybe you've had a holiday in the sense of payments. You don't have to pay straight away and stuff like that. So financially you're probably okay. For some, your work may be a second income in the home, so it's helping out. The other income's enough to keep you going. It doesn't mean to say it's easy. It's still tough. It's very tough going at this moment in time. But you feel confident. Mentally you're strong. Mentally you're secure and stable, and you're going to find something. And we have here the ace. The 1 is a new concept, a new idea. It could also be a new opportunity coming in. So an opportunity presents itself this is in your present situation. Perhaps you received the opportunity and you're looking at it and you're deciding what to do with it. And if it's within your sector, obviously you're going to go for it, most likely. It may be a lower position, but you're probably still going to go for it because it'll still be work. Even if you have to take a couple of steps back, a couple of steps, or a couple of rungs down the ladder, or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's work and it's bringing the money in to pay bills and put food on the table, then that's what you want to do. This also could well be an opportunity that's not even in your sector, your area. It could be in totally something else. I remember back in 2008 when I had the big crash. I'd been teaching at that time, and then I was no longer teaching because I wasn't getting the work. I was like a supply teacher and sort of like on contract, and ended up working for one of the top 4 supermarkets here in the warehouse. And I wasn't the only one, from that kind of field there. There were other teachers there, but we even had a rocket scientist, working there as well, on packing and picking, and doing general warehouse duties. and he'd been working, he'd been laid off from BAE at that time for whatever reason, and eventually, I think he actually went back into that kind of work after a few months, but he took on the work at the warehouse as a stopgap. And that's what you may have to do, is to take on that work as a stopgap. Unless you start to enjoy the work. I mean, back then I enjoyed the work I was doing, and it became a new career for me, and I worked my way up into like junior management, if you like, before I left there. And you may be able to do the same in your new career. You may enjoy it. It may be a completely different sector to what you're used to. Perhaps you were in technology, for example, but now you have to go to a warehouse or a factory or something like that. Whatever it is, whatever's putting the money on the table, if this opportunity is that, then that's the one that I would say you would take. Certainly I would if I was in your position. But you have to be patient. There's still a bit of a delay. Perhaps you are waiting still to hear back from certain companies and so on, because they're more in line with what you want to do, and you have to be patient with that. And like I say, it may not be this year, it may well be next year before you can get back into your kind of work that you're used to. So if you're looking for a management post, for example, because that's what you have done over the last 5, 10, 15 years, they may not be as available as they once were. So you may have to take a lower form of management, if you like, or a different kind of work where you start off on the shop floor again, like I was saying. And you have to be patient with that, and bide your time, because eventually things will change around and you'll be able to get back into the sector that you enjoy working in. So let's have a look to see what else we need to know. Okay, so we've got 7. 7 is expertise and training, experience, things like that. So you've got experience in certain fields. You've got the experience that you've built up, from your past work and so on. So you have things that you could put on your CV, resume, perhaps that's not even work related directly, or not directly related to the work you've done before, but there are things that you can do. You've got experience that you can put out there which may be attractive to certain companies, and that's what I mean about standing out, and being the purple cow in the field. I think there's a book, isn't there, called The Purple Cow, where you have to stand out in the crowd and be different, and that may be a situation where you need to think out of the box and look through the skills, have a look, think through all the different things that you can do, your talents, your skills and so on. Maybe even look at perhaps starting your own business with it if you can. Whether it's just part-time or full-time, I mean, it's up to you. Maybe there's something, a skill that you've got that you could pass on to others, and you could do online courses with, as an example. Say guitar playing, guitar lessons, or painting, or some kind of craft work, that kind of situation, or perhaps you find you've got a flair for making YouTube videos about a particular topic, a particular skill or talent that you've got, and you want to do it that way. So that will at least keep you occupied. It may not bring you a lot of money in straight away, but it's something that you could put on your CV or resume that would stand out. So you have to use your experience. And I see here in the current situation that you are indeed using your experience. You're putting your experience out there, and you're thinking outside of the box in that way, because this is another 7 card. So, and perhaps you're gaining some experience, some training as well. I feel some of you may be getting some training in maybe doing the CV, resume, or improving your job search. Perhaps, as an example, perhaps instead of doing like a paperwork CV, you're doing a video CV or resume, and some companies do accept them. In fact, there are some companies that won't accept paper or digital CVs or resumes. They want to see you. They want to see how you talk, see how you present yourself in that way, and that will form part of the interview process as well. So you could do like a video CV or resume, and that could be something different to think out the box with, and so on. But you're using your experience, you're using the talents that you've got, and perhaps you're also learning something new. Now I have got here the 6, and that is the same, in the same line as patience and delay and so on. It's perseverance, it's sticking with it. Don't give up hope. Never, 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 never give up. As Churchill once said, there's always hope, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Even when you're down in that pity pit, and you can't go any further, you can always climb back out again. All it takes is that mental shift to do so. So never give up. Always have hope that something is going to change, that something is going to improve, that things will indeed get better. And like I say, it may well not be until next year. So it could well be for the next few weeks over Christmas and so on. It could well be a tough time. So that's going to be for many of us. But for you especially, if you're struggling with finances and things like that, it could very well be a tough time. But seek help, seek guidance, help. There's government websites, there's local authority websites, there's other ways, there's organisations, there's people in your area who can help you out. Ask around, speak to people, find out, do your due diligence in that sense. Search online, if you can, and find out what's going on in your area, who can help you. Either not necessarily to get a job, but maybe help you with coping over the next few weeks and so on until things happen in the new year. But persevere with your CVs. Don't give up on them. Your resumes. Keep applying for different jobs. Keep waiting out. Don't just sit back, apply for one or two in your sector and sit back and wonder why you're not getting replies. Apply for everything that you can think of, even if it's not in your sector. Apply for it. If somebody's looking for a dog walker, apply for it. In fact, that's a good business idea. A friend of mine did that earlier on this year. He started a dog walking business, was quite badly hit with the first lockdown because everybody was at home and they wanted to walk the dogs themselves. But with this second lockdown, it did pick up afterwards, and then with the second lockdown we've got here in the UK, he's still doing okay because most people have either gone back to work in the working environment, in the offices or the company or whatever, or they're working from home and they haven't got the time to take the dog out or whatever. So he's still doing okay. That's something you could do as well. Why not be a dog walker? Socially distanced dog walker. He advertises himself as, because he only takes one dog at a time. There you go. And you've got to think outside the box with these kind of situations and persevere. Keep looking, keep searching, keep checking these things. And I would say most of you are probably doing that anyway. However, I know from my own personal experience in the past that yes, I've only looked in one sector, one particular area, and I've ignored every other job that was on the list that came through by email or whatever, and was only interested in one particular sector. We can't afford to do that these days. You have to look at everything, because the way a situation is in the work front, like I was saying, the job opportunities are a lot less, but the competition has increased greatly. So you have to persevere. I'm going to draw one more line just to finish off, see what we get here. So stability and structure has come through again. So this is in your past again. So you are still feeling mentally strong, and you're emotionally strong as well. You're stable, secure. You're not letting it get you down too much. Yes, you're obviously got your concerns and so on. You got your worries and so on. However, things are going to change. You're feeling okay in that sense. And we've got a 10. 10 is completion. 10 is a celebration. 10 is end of a cycle. So things are going to change. Because you're persevering, things are going to change and move forward for you. And that's also backed up, I believe, by the Queen of Swords, because you are being patient as well. So there is going to be a celebration here. There's going to be a completion of the whole thing that you've been doing all these maybe weeks, maybe a couple of months or whatever. things are going to change for the better. Okay, and maybe that is changing now. You're starting to get the offers come in, and or maybe you found something, so that particular cycle has come to an end, and the patience is because it's not something that's ideal for you, but you're going to stick with it, you're going to persevere with it because it's bringing the money in to pay the bills, to put food on the table, to take care of your family, to make sure you're not put out on the street and so on. So you're persevering with it, you're being patient with it because it's an opportunity at least to stay in the work market, so to speak, to stay in that working mentality, so that you're able to continue to move forward until something better comes along. So that's the story, guys. Nothing's going to really change. For some of you, it may well change, and you'll get that opportunity and maybe get to start. But this could also mean, just thinking of it now, this could also mean, yes, you've got the job or you've got a new post, but you may not be starting until next year. Okay, so they may be waiting until restrictions have lifted and so on, things like that. So you still have to exercise some patience. So overall, it is a story of patience and perseverance, sticking with it, doing what you're doing right now to look for work, carry on with your work search, and look at different avenues of work, not just in the field that you were previously occupied, that you were previously employed in. Look at everything out there that's possible, even some of the ones that maybe are impossible. Why not have a go at them, have a look at them? Can you do that? Perhaps you can. Have a look at all these high-flying jobs. It could well be that you've got skills, when you look at what's required, that would translate or transfer into that particular sector. Okay, teaching skills, you could go into coaching, hairdressing skills, you could go into the forces as and be a barber or a hairdresser there, that kind of situation. I know it's a bit frivolous, but you know what I mean. You may have things that you do in your experience that transfer to other sectors as well. So think of things like that. Or like I said, perhaps you've got skills and talents, things that you're able to do, a hobby or a passion that you're able to turn into something that brings in an income. Okay guys, let me know how you feel about that. Give me some feedback on the video. What are you doing with your job search and so on. I certainly wish you all the best of British luck in finding new work, new employment, so that you can get back onto a more even keel than the way you are now. Leave me a comment below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and if you want a private reading with me, let me know about that as well. And I'll see you again. Bye for now.